to MMMcast or Cast. Nice. I like that, Rio. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's going to be about 2 hours or so of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you want to see some of our other streams, we also have a Chronicles of Darkness and a Starfinder that should be on the same channel. So if you like this, remember to like and subscribe. And let's jump straight into it. So, Helena, do you want to do a recap from what happened to us last time?
We were on a boat. We were traveling. And when we came upon some dastardly sea criminals, and they were trying to kill a magnificent baby whale. And we could not have that. We didn't talk about it as a group. We just attacked as if our minds were one. Dream cast an amazing spell, which, just a little tip, if you are ever at sea, you need your warlock to have sickening radiance.
Real though.
You don't even have to get close to the ship then, and they all just, yeah. So anyway.
You guys could have just, like, left your spell there and left.
Seriously.
Like, and then they just would have taken care of everyone.
We didn't want to do that. We wanted to relish ending their lives in person.
Yeah.
As any respectable guild would do.
Good-natured adventure.
Plus, if it wasn't for Rook and Kaim, that baby whale would have died.
That's
so.
very true. And that will have direct consequences in tonight's episode. So, good on you.
Not only did we end lives, we saved a life. And because of that, a beautiful, majestic female came out of the water and is going to talk to us.
Well, to Kaim, really.
To Kaim.
I think the rest of us had went to bed.
I don't know if you guys are still on the dock. Let's actually go over that. Where is everybody?
I feel like Rook was still on deck, but I don't rightly remember.
I don't think it was nighttime yet, because I know that Gimble and Kaim had just finished talking, and Gimble had walked away to go read.
And Dash and Dream are always around, so.
Yeah.
All right, so.
If that's
okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, everyone's on deck. So yeah, as we bring it in, Kaim, as you're still considering the actions you took in that last fight, still fighting this balance and trying to find the balance in nature, you see this large form in the water coming close to you. You can't really make out specifics or see what it is. You turn around and kind of try and get everyone else's attention so they can look and see if they can perceive what it is. As you turn back around, you see a large, maybe 7.5 foot tall woman. This bipedal form. She's wearing a nice looking vest, and she is very gaunt, and you see a number of striations from her chin all the way down through her chest, maybe 10 to 15 striations. She puts her hand on your shoulder. She says, "What ails you, child of the sea?"
Holy shit!
I took a sea creature's life. Not only that, but I changed it to a land creature and then made it succumb to the sea.
Which was awful. Yes.
For the first time, she kind of looks past Kaim and notices the rest of the party, acknowledging everybody with a stare and then going back to Kaim. The balance of nature is a fickle thing, young one, and one life cannot be measured upon another. The only true thing to bring balance is the intentions behind the actions. This so-called creature that you killed, did you mean it harm?
I think in the moment I may have, but that creature meant harm to those close to me, and I kind of gesture to everybody behind me. It had the illest of ill intent to everybody.
Then there, my dear friend, lies the rub. Should we see the shark as a dastardly evil being for hunting its prey, whereas the intention behind its kill is to feed itself, not to take another creature away from this life? Balance is an interesting thing, one that could be debated for many years, but intention, there is no debate.
I guess a pound of water weighs the same as a pound of feathers.
She kind of like grabs or holds on a little bit harder to your shoulder and walks back towards the boat, kind of towards the middle, gesturing to the whole party.
Rook, Kaim, are we in danger?
I'm immediately like, no, like trying to get Rook to settle the hell down for the first time in Rook's life.
She just puts up just a large hand in front of Rook. She's maybe 10 feet away from you, and just puts it up in your direction. Young one, please. You are in no danger here.
Okay, because you have to remember that we've dealt with a lot of like big mysterious figures, and every time it has gone terribly wrong, or somebody's mom has died, or he looks around for Gimble. Yeah, it's just not good for us in the long run. So you have to understand my reticence here.
She looks over towards Gimble and gives a nod. I understand. And she puts her hands back at her chest. I wish only to ask what your intentions are in this water.
We're just trying to get home.
And where is home?
Osrin for the present. We're on a journey to find a great source of magic to help aid our overall goals. And this was the fastest way to return to our city.
And you will find this magic in your city.
I believe we'll find it in the North Seas, is what we've been told.
North Seas, very far from here, and very dangerous, not protected like this sea. I cannot help in that respect. But if you are going towards Osrin, you will have to pass the Arrow Pass.
Yes.
And that is a treacherous journey.
Yeah, we're strangely confident about it.
Many are. Not many make it through.
But we're humbled and know the danger that lies ahead. It is calculated, but required.
Yes, the Everpool is very strong towards the Arrow Pass. There is but a small chamber you can go through to miss the rocks and the waves created by the Everpool. Very dangerous. He kind of looks at Captain Everett. He knows more than most. Everett gives her a little nod as he kind of leans back and keeps reading his book.
That's why we're trusting our lives with him.
Please tell me of your journey thus far in this water.
Well, we met a dragon turtle, which Everett fed, and then we attacked some whalers. That's really all we've done.
And what brought you to attack these whalers?
Well, I mean, they were killing a baby blue whale. I mean, that's not kosher.
It was clear they meant the animal harm for profit.
And this is against your intentions.
Yes.
I mean, I highly doubt they were going to eat it like a proper, situation.
Very well. As I was telling your friend, mentions over towards Kaim, intentionality is the driving factor for all beings, and it appears through the wisdom I have gained that your intention is not to do harm to anyone in this river.
No.
It is because of that I will let you pass. And because of the kindness you showed our young one, we will make the travel a bit easier. As I said before, Arrow Pass is treacherous, but we could make it a little more manageable for your team.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. And you don't want anyone's soul or anything?
Rook.
I could not do much with your soul, but thank you for the offer.
You're welcome.
Kaim kind of steps forward and is like, I've recently joined with this newfound family, and I'm learning much every day about a lot.
Yes, I don't see many of your kind away from your hollow in open sea. So it is good that you are expanding your potential. But remember, young one, intentionality is everything. Well, it was very joyous to meet all of you, and you have a friend amongst my people. And she steps back towards the end of the boat and jumps off. And as she jumps off, she jumps pretty far, and her form shifts from a lady into a large 70-foot blue whale as she splashes into the water, waves all on top of the boat, all wetting everybody. She swims back up and gives one eye through the water and then goes back down.
Kaim is trying to stifle, like, a tear comes down his face, and he's like, oh god, salt water in my eye. Ah.
We really need
Over
to get
and
back
pat
on
you on the
dry
back.
lands.
What were you saying, Mazrin?
I go pat Kaim on the back, and like, side hug.
And you see Everett kind of still reading his book. Yeah, I remember the first time I met a whale as well. Got the same look on your face that I had.
She was beautiful.
Claps at those. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Kaim's gonna run over to Everett and like slide on his knees up to Everett, and, like, you've met them? How many more are there? And like kind of like excitedly shake whatever he's sitting on.
Oh, I mean, there's many more in these waters. This is where they go to raise their young ones. The Everpool helps defend little ones before, they go out into the world. But, once they're around 70 years old or so, they don't need much protecting. They have a lot of spells that they can cast that I've seen, so...
Wait, so whales are magical creatures?
Well,
Pocketbook out.
of course they are. You think the only big creature is dragon that's magical? No. These are dragons of the sea.
Instant, like,
I mean, dragons kind of, like, give a different kind of energy than a whale,
You know how long whales have been around?
No, sir, I'm incredibly ignorant.
I'd say probably before the dragons, my friend.
Oh. I mean, honestly, I would just love to get a dragon's perspective on that whole dichotomy. You know what I mean? Like I can understand like a whale being compared to a dragon, but like I think if you compared a dragon to a whale, the dragon would be, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Dragons are all melodramatic.
All right.
All
So
about
you're
Hmm?
you're a worldly person. So like, is it wrong to eat a dragon?
I suppose anything that wants to eat you, it's probably okay for you to eat it.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I told you, Gimble. I told you. Rook receiving the first like agreement to his opinion ever, and just taking it as fact.
In fact, I had a red dragon once. It was not very good. It was very chewy, very, very lean meat. Not much flavor.
You didn't have my dragon meat, which I've never had the opportunity to cook one, but I'm sure it would be amazing.
Mhm.
Do you think dragon meat could cook itself?
Probably not
Okay.
after it's dead.
You guys here? We get to go through the pass.
Yeah, make it much easier to get through. My trip back won't be too easy, but it's all right. I'll get you guys there.
Thank you. We are really forever in your debt for this.
Nonsense. We're gonna have an amazing adventure in the North Sea soon, so you'll make it up to me.
But how are you going to get to the North Sea? You said that there wouldn't be a way.
I got my ways.
I love the whole mysterious sea captain vibe, but you could also just like talk to us, you know, like we would respect you the same amount.
You're right. I could. Opens his book again.
Man after my own heart.
You're even more curious now, aren't you?
You know, Captain, you should really join us in Mazrin because I know the perfect coffee shop for you.
Huh. Away from the sea. This may not be a bad idea. We might take you up on that.
Yeah, the bodega.
He's not allowed inside, but I'd be happy to show you around.
It sounds fantastic. So
Suppose
as you guys
focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, seems like it's going to be much easier getting through the Arrow Pass, so we shouldn't have much of an issue unless we encounter any more pirates, but I don't think this close to the Everpool we would. Now, we have maybe half a day or so to get there, and then from the Arrow Pass to Mazrin, another 2 days, day and a half, depending on how the wind fares. So we have some time. Please. Make yourselves comfortable. There's not much to do here on the Bartleby, but I have as many books as you can read.
Does that mean that whales shoot fire out of the blowhole or out of their mouths?
No, they don't shoot fire. They can't. No.
But they're dragons.
They're not dragons. They're not the same lineage as dragons.
Captain Everett, you're ahead now. Just enjoy your book, Captain.
Is there anything we can do to help prepare for this pass?
Not that I can see. A nice meal would be nice to have. Maybe if your friend here can whip something up.
Oh no, I got to think about whales for at least another hour.
But the Bartleby will take care of everything else, so don't you worry.
I guess I'll try to cook.
I guess lightning would be out of the question too.
Need a hand, Mazrin?
Or
I'll make some coffee.
Maybe like sound waves that like damage you in some way.
Everybody goes under deck except for sitting there talking to himself.
Dream, what are you doing?
I'll probably go down to the kitchen to help.
Yeah.
Imagine Rook is like at the front of the ship with his hands on the railing, just like, but what about?
What about Tasha's hideous laughter? Like, no one can hear it.
I mean, it would be ridiculous if they shot out like jets of water, right? Because you're in the water, so that wouldn't really do anything. Huh.
Gimble trying real hard not to feed this flame.
Where did everybody go?
You guys head down. Who is preparing it? Who's the main person preparing it?
I'll do it.
Make a
I can't
deliciousness
cook,
check.
yeah.
I don't add anything to it, do I?
I'm assisting for what that's worth.
It's a 12.
12? Okay. Go and roll for assisting him, Kaim.
Any modifiers?
Nope.
In true Kaim fashion, assisting with the meal, I rolled a 2.
Okay. That made it worse. You added way too much salt. As you try it, yeah. As you try it, it is slightly worse than the rations you bought from the merchants in Sutton or
Rook
in
is-
Squall's End.
Rook is eating his and openly crying, but going, "Yeah, it's great, Kaim. It's great."
I will prestidigitate 3 of the dishes because I think that's as many as I'm allowed to do.
Okay. What are you gonna make it taste like?
Which 3, Gimble?
The captains, Dreams, and Rooks, and Mazrin and Kaim and I, because we were all there and actively fucking it up, can suffer. Dream was
I
providing
think I
moral
did
support, so
okay.
she probably just helped.
I don't know that Kaim knows it's so knows it's bad. I don't know what the cooking in the hollow was like. I'm trying to think about it as we're talking about this.
There wasn't much like gourmet cooking in the hollow. It was more just like putting fish on the fire and eating them that way, and then kind of collecting veg and some fruit from the farms that you guys made.
And as a sea creature, Kaim can't taste salt, so to him it's fine.
So I can have 3 instances of prestidigitation active at a time. So can I actually try and move them around between bites?
Hilarious.
An
Wait, no,
Arcana
hold on.
check.
Hold on,
Yes.
hold on.
Okay.
Wait 2 seconds. Don't
Okay.
chew yet.
Wait. Make an Arcana.
That is a 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, I would say you get all of the instances except for one. You miss it when Kaim is actually going to make one of his bites and Rook is getting one at the same time. You can't do it on both, so you choose to do it on Rook. And Kaim, once you take a bite, you must have got like a really bad piece of meat because it is not the same as what you tasted before. It is disgusting.
But
Meanwhile, I
Kaim
haven't eaten
knows
anything.
he's eating it for sustenance, so he's like,
Yep.
gotta do it.
And the next bite is amazing.
Repeating to himself, it's the intentionality that matters.
For nutrition and sustenance.
Rook takes off one of his gauntlets and tries to mimic the hand gestures to try and to do the spell because he's experimenting with magic now.
You think you probably have the hand gestures correct. You've seen Gimble do it a few times over the years. As you try it, nothing's coming.
I'm sitting
He's
there
pretty
frantically.
He's pretty confident he's helping.
Yeah.
Would I see Rook trying to do that?
Yeah, you would.
Can I produce a small flame? Can I cast the cantrip,
Yeah.
produce flame very small on Rook's plate?
Do sleight of hand to see if you do it under the radar.
You know what? Just let Rook have this. Just let him have it.
Let him keep believing he has weird magical abilities that are going to get us in trouble.
It's a 6.
6. All right. You, as you're doing this, you notice Kaim doing some other weird hand gestures that don't match yours, and then you see a flame pop out in front of your hand.
Whoa, gosh. Should I be doing it that way, Kaim? Are you trying to correct my form? All right. What was it? Show me again.
Kaim doesn't realize he was being so obvious about it and is like, goes for his fork. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Well, you were doing hand gestures, and then obviously I did mine wrong because, I mean, I just don't think I'll ever be good at this. I'm trying, though. I'm trying, you know. I mean,
It's all in the heart of the cantrip.
I'm in my 40s. It seems pretty late to be starting to, you know, learn magic and everything. So I should probably just give up, you know.
I think you should bring up any emotions you're feeling and get them out onto the table.
Captain Everett closes his book. I'm gonna go to bed as he walks away.
How long do we have until we're at the whirlpool?
He said half a day, so maybe by sunrise.
If anyone needs me, I'm going to go tie myself to something that won't, like, fly off the ship before we get there.
With a mouthful of food, Kaim goes, that's not a bad idea.
After you guys finish up your meal and kind of meander around, cleaning up the kitchen and doing what you're doing, Captain Everett comes out of his bunk. Another great book, and he throws it into one of the taller piles. Gimble, how you doing?
Holding on well. Excited to be back on land. The Bartleby's been a joy to partake upon, but I'm looking forward to getting closer to our goal.
Yeah, he's a good old boat. Kind of taps it. He's taken me through many adventures. Now, I don't want to pry, and Bartleby's pretty small, so you hear things. And it seems your friend is maybe a little upset with the way things kind of went when he talked to you about his feelings.
I'm up on deck tied to the mast, so you can talk freely.
I am of the mind that the ability for distance allows for logical and correct decisions, and I don't believe that we are at a place that has the distance to process new information.
Now, that is a way to see it. Though, in my experience, logic and critical thinking doesn't really play much of a part in what's going on between you two.
Everyone's going to peer pressure Gimble into loving Rook. That's not fair.
I appreciate your guidance, and I do believe that that there is a decision that has been made on some level. I just am not. I don't feel at liberty to react to that decision with all that is happening.
I understand, and I don't want to pry, like I said before, but take it from a man whose daughter is a few thousand miles away and doesn't really talk to him much, that at a point, it becomes too long.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Why don't you talk to your daughter anymore? Did you try to kill her?
Oh, no, my dear. If I tried to kill her, she would definitely get the better of me. She's a lot stronger than I am. No, when she was younger, I took to the sea more often than not and wasn't really around for her. And when the time came for me to retire and go actually have a life with her, it seems that her mother had died a few years before that, and I couldn't really get around that. I abandoned her, so here we are. Well, I'm gonna go back to my bunk. It was nice talking to you all, and Gimble, I hope you listen to what I'm saying. And he walks back into his bunk.
What a lovely evening. I'm really glad everybody enjoyed my cooking. The cooking I helped with.
Yeah, Kaim, we're going to spend the next like 2 hours talking about that.
I'm gonna try really hard to short rest and focus on spells and preparing for the whirlpool.
I'm going to take Kaim down to the galley and start showing him what he did wrong.
See this? Salt? Too much. Don't eat this. Yeah, as you guys kind of toil between whatever you're doing, as night sets in full, Bartleby's just still going away as Captain Everett's slumbering. So you guys are able to go to sleep or put a watch up, whatever you want to do.
I mean, Captain Everett never seems overly concerned with watches, so I'm just going to trust the Bartleby and not worry about it. I am tied to the mast, though, so...
You're tied to the mast. Okay.
We did say that before.
Good to know.
No one has checked on me at all.
You were teaching Kaim.
That was before I tied myself to the
okay.
Kaim's gonna go up on deck and set up like his bedroll and stuff, and kind of peacefully lay on the deck and think about the wise words of the whale.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's after a moment gonna shout, "Rook, you doing okay up there? You just hanging out, buddy?"
Well, he's tied like where he's like sitting on the deck of the ship.
Oh, I pictured for some reason Rook like up in the crow's nest tied to it, like bracing for impact.
I don't really know how he would have done that by himself, so
I didn't question it, but same thing. Kaim's gonna say, "How you doing, Rook? You just hanging out?"
Yeah, I've slept in much worse situations.
Do tell. What's the worst situation you've slept in? And Kaim's gonna like just relax and kind of nuzzle into his little camp. Not camp, but you know what I'm trying to say. Sleep.
Well, there was this one time we were being hunted by kraken wolves. I don't know if you ever heard of those, but they're wolves with octopus faces and just like razor teeth all along the tentacles, like awful creatures. And the only place they didn't seem to come for us was in this like bramble pile. So we were like, well, if we're going to be safe from these kraken wolves, we got to sleep in the bramble pile. So that was probably the most uncomfortable place I've slept.
Once the cult leaders put me in a coffin and covered me with dirt. That was pretty uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, coffins are real rough.
That just sounds quite similar to how the Earth tribes at the Hollow sleep. To each their own.
So are there like poison tribes and like lightning tribes and like all the elements? Like is there like an ice version of you? If you get really cold, do you turn to ice? If we traveled through a desert, would you turn to steam? Like, is that something we should be worried about? Is like aridness? Do you need to stay humid most of the time?
For most
Has
of your
a
questions,
fish ever lived inside of you since you're a water creature?
He's not.
now see, for most of your questions, I tend to just summarize them as Rookisms, but those first few, I've never encountered. The last one, I think everybody doesn't need me to answer, but
So fish do live inside of you.
Kaim just puts his arms up and goes, ah!
I'm
Trying
below
to
deck.
scare.
I'm below deck. I'm below deck.
I used my shapeshifts. Damn it.
They come back after an hour, so
I thought it was after a short rest.
yeah, it's an
It's an
hour.
hour.
Okay. Kaim's going to actually kind of think about what would happen if his water ganassi self would be like in what he would think to be a desert is. And he's going to be kind of quiet for a second and go, oh, no, we have the earth, the water, the air, and the fire. But, and he kind of pats where everybody knows his pocketbook would be, but we're out to learn. Then he's going to...
If a fire genasi and a water genasi had a baby, would it be a steam genasi?
So, Kaim, you've never seen a fire genasi. As far as you know, they don't exist anymore. But probably not.
I mean, it would be really hard for a water genasi to have relations with a mythical being.
I mean, I've boned a fire genasi before. It's not that hot.
Where's Mazrin?
I was just gonna say, halfway this conversation, I walked over to like the prow of the ship, like just
I have so many questions for Mazrin.
oh, you think I'm gonna be okay? All right.
Any sort of blankets, everything I'm laying with and all that, I'm just gonna pull over myself.
Mid-conversation, Rook, you see him pull all the blankets over his head.
I realize there's no way for me to pull those blankets off of his head to ask these very important questions, and just kind of just wander off to sleep, sitting tied to this mast.
Very important questions.
There is, and Rook wouldn't know this, but there is absolutely pages being written in reverse order from the back of the notebook that the back page is just titled Rookisms. And it's just a collection of can I milk you?
We also
Whales shoot fire?
Billy,
Kaim,
we
can start writing our rules down.
Yeah.
Oh man, we
Rook's
dropped
rules
that
for
whole
adventuring.
convention
Well,
so quickly.
But hold on, Mazrin has a bunch of them written down because Dash had a bunch of them down. So if Kaim ever mentions this to Mazrin, then we'll get together on that. But
Oh,
or if like Rook mentions it or someone.
hearing that Rook has necked with a fire genasi who Kaim doesn't really think exists, he's just heard stories about, he's gonna ask about it.
We've met a
Well, I
fire
don't know anything
genasi.
about that. Have we met one?
He has
there's
a fire genasi.
There's one in Steel Cry.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
I was under the impression that they were super rare, but not like mythical creatures.
Well, as far as Kaim knows, and through the teachings of the Hollow, they don't exist anymore.
That's what I'm saying. But for the rest of us, fire genasis exist and are just
Yeah.
normal people.
Yep.
And we get to that in game.
So yeah, as you pull the blanket over your head, Rook still like sputtering out questions to himself about life, the whales, and the different genasis that could be. And Mazrin is looking off the side of the boat, annoyed. We'll say, unless anyone wants to do anything else, it comes time to sleep. So everyone goes to their respective bunks. Whoever wants to stay on deck can and sleep up there. It's a pretty comfortable night. Not too much wave, not too cold, not too hot. From there, Dream, did you want to do something? Sorry.
I'm going to stay on the deck, but
On
in a restful way.
okay. Yeah. As morning comes, you see the heat of the sun wakes you from your sleep. Rook still tied to the mast. You see that Captain Everett came out before the sun, is having his morning cup of tea as he's watching the sunrise with a book on his lap.
Morning, Captain.
Morning. How was your night? Did you
I
get
was
rope
fine.
burns?
No, why would I get rope burns?
Because you're tied up to the mast?
Oh, no, I'm used to sleeping in a completely still position while holding a man in subdued. So I'm pretty used to this kind of thing.
Well, to each their own.
It's only when they're prisoners, not in any kind of
Oh.
sexual capacity, Captain.
Okay. Reminds me of a Yennefer story.
Most sexual situations should. There's 72 volumes, so they've covered just about everything.
Oh my gosh.
You all wake up from... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm a particular fan of when that series of books when she got that girdle of gender reversal. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, I could take or leave those ones, but hey.
Which gender does she choose?
Oh, she just turns male.
As that you all wake up, go through breakfast, go through your day. About halfway through the day, you can see the horizon getting narrower. You see this kind of torrent of waves licking up against just kind of assortment of rocks off in the distance, and you're now coming up towards Arrow Pass. Captain Everett, for the first time since the battle, has no book in hand, is at the helm, kind of ready to go, ready to get through this treacherous pass. And he says, I would recommend maybe either tying yourself in or going down below deck.
Already done, Captain.
Who else is staying on top?
Yeah, I will. I'll tie myself in.
Rule 68. Always be prepared by tying it down.
You go add that one. Oh, how funny. We already have a 67. And it's also about tying things up.
Continuity.
Always be prepared by tying it down.
Are you going to say something, Gimble?
Oh, I just said one away from the next number. Nothing in character. Sorry.
Dream, my love, my everything. If you could funnel some of that salted meat into Daddy's face, that would be much appreciated.
I do that.
As you funnel it into his face, not giving him a chance to chew or swallow. You just kind of keep pushing it in.
That's how Rook likes it. These unprepared rations. Oh.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Should this be one of those lost episodes?
Talking about jerky, nothing else.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna
Nothing else.
So,
So you're still a bit
Anyway.
away from Arrow Pass, and you can see that between the jutting rocks, far distance away, between the jutting rocks, you do see a small pass off to the north, where you see that a ship could maybe slip through if the wind is right. The waters here, where your entire travel were calm, are just all over the place, waves going around like crazy, and you see this giant whirlpool before you, bigger than you could have imagined it, as you're getting closer and closer to the Arrow Pass, as Captain Everett's directing the Bartleby towards the small passage. You hear silence. From before, there was kind of a cacophonous sound of the waves going. Now the entire ocean is still. As you look over and you see the whirlpool, the Everpool, the pool that, since all of you have been alive, has not stopped, has stopped.
What?
Captain Everett doesn't take his eye off the Arrow Pass. He kind of goes straight on. Going through this narrow passage, narrowly missing rocks as he goes through, still being a difficult journey, even though the pool of the ocean isn't present. It takes you about, I want to say, he did pretty well. It takes you about 30 minutes or so to go through this pass, him tacking to the different directions of the wind, trying to go straight on. As you finally get through and you see the Arrow Pass behind you, you hear the cacophonous racket of the waves again as you look over, and the Everpool has started anew and started twisting and turning once more.
Rook went full Tina through that whole thing. It's just like, ha, 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 ha.
I leaned way over the edge to look at that as much as I could.
Yeah.
Dream, you get back from that right now. The ocean is treacherous and it will kill you.
I pretend to kind of hold Dream, but I'm also looking over way further than I should as well.
Mazrin?
Yeah. Just totally transfixed.
And Captain Everett makes a sudden move towards your side of the boat, and the boat shifts a bit. And you guys lose your balance a bit, but catch it, and you look back, and he just has a huge shitting grin on his face.
Rook bursts forth from his ropes that were really shittily tied because he did them himself, and rushes to grab both Mazrin and Dream, like chucks them towards the center of the boat, and then falls off himself.
About to fall off, you catch yourself with one of your arms, so you don't go into the Everpool to be lost forever.
Cast Levitate to bring him back on
Even
the
better.
ship and set him down as he goes over.
What did you see?
I didn't see anything. I saw my daughter about to drown in the perilous, murky deeps of the wonderful and kind ocean.
I had her. Don't worry there, Rook.
I trust you, Everett. I know that it was out of your control that happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally out of my control. As he pats Bartleby.
And I will just then set Rook down on the deck.
It's like how I'm a failure at magic. Every time I try and do something to create, it turns to naught but fire.
Well, so that one part's over.
We
Fast Aerobass. Another maybe day and a half travel, we'll be there. And I'll take you up on that whole, what is it, book Dega you were talking about?
Well, Mazrin doesn't have a port, so I mean, we're gonna have to go to that other city whose name I know that has a port. won't
Yeah,
we?
we'll try. We're traveling to Lingdon now, and then we'll either travel it by foot, or if you have the means to, we can teleport to Osrin.
We should have extra money if you're going to help us in the North Seas. We've been, ever since the clothing debacle, we've been very careful with how we spend our money, knowing that we are on a very important mission.
That's good to know.
Yes, we've been super careful to be completely honest about the amount of money that we are spending in or out of magic shops in places like
Has it
Swallow's
been 10 minutes since I pulled him back over the edge yet?
It has not been 10 minutes now.
He's gonna end up 5 feet in the air for a second.
He crosses his legs and arms and goes, "This is mature."
And for the first time in your relationship, Gimble is the one picking you up. As you set him down after a time. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it must be the latent energy of the Everpool. I'm so sorry.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Sounds expensive.
Not as bad as you
Sounds
think.
No,
expensive.
like energy-wise. It just sounds like you expended a lot of resources on that
And
spell. And I apologize. I would never.
I didn't
ask you to do
expend
that.
nearly as much as you think. Drop.
I turns to Mazrin and is like, we're back on the rocks again?
It's always about the rocks. Kaim, always.
He jots that down real quick and puts it away.
Rookism, it's always about the rocks.
Always about the rocks. Yeah, as you put him down and you have this conversation, you have about a day and a half until you reach Lingdon. We can kind of hand wave that time and say you got there, or we can go through it if you have anything you want to do in downtime or any conversations you want to have. It's up to you guys.
Kaim's going to try to avoid the Rookisms as much as he can.
Oh, he's helping you cook, so there's Rookisms everywhere.
I mean, rules like 100 through 150 are all cooking related, so.
You would have space for that in my notebook.
Mazrin, what are you doing?
Watching the ocean.
Okay.
I'm still enthralled by the openness.
You have very explicit instructions from Kaim that if anything seems even slightly cool, is the word he used, to run and grab him.
Okay.
Pay attention, you're wilting the vegetables.
Kaim turns, don't you talk to me about the vegetables.
Well, if you didn't wilt them, I wouldn't have to.
It's a delicacy.
Everett's in the corner. Nice to have company again. Look.
Kaim, you either pay attention or I'm going to boil you in this pot.
I mean, he is water, so wouldn't that just dilute the stew?
Sacrifices can be made, Mazrin.
Dream, what are you doing?
I'm sorry. I totally knew what I was doing, but then I just totally forgot. I'm reading as many Yennefer books as I can.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Make an intelligence check.
Shouldn't it be a wisdom save to see if her mind is warped?
Her mind.
You mean blown?
Too late.
Intelligence, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You are able to get through 25 of these books in your travels. They're pretty quick reads, and you are just blazing through them. Since you don't sleep as well, there's nothing stopping you from reading these books, and you are thoroughly enthralled.
Rook does get annoyed with you because you don't put the books back in the right piles, but...
I do so.
No, sometimes you put them down in a pleasure pile when it should be a made me feel awkward in a pleasurable way pile. So, I mean,
I'd like to roll for this.
Go ahead and roll wisdom. Yeah.
Oh,
please.
it's even better. Dirty 20 again.
20 again. Contesting Rook's natural 20 that he got when he got it. Some of them you did mistake, but there's quite a few that you put in the right one that he's calling you out for. So you're definitely going to call him out for those.
While they're having the book discussion, I would like to say that Kaim is actively trying to make the best dish that he thinks Rook is ever going to have.
Okay. Make a deliciousness check.
I'm just telling you, Jake, that if you screw up this roll while he's distracted.
What kind of modifiers?
No
Any?
no modifier. You're not proficient.
I'm the only one who's proficient.
Yeah.
That's a 17.
Okay. It's not the best thing he's ever had, but still pretty damn good.
Okay.
But seeing as Rook wasn't paying attention, he just assumes it was him.
It was his, yeah. It was. He's not attributing any of that to you. Gimble, what are you doing in this time?
So since we got around the whirlpool as we did, Gimble basically locked himself in one of the staterooms and just hasn't left the entire time. I've been pacing back and forth, writing and rewriting different responses and trying to rehearse each of them to see which one feels right. And I've done I think that one of us has to leave because this can't distract us from our mission. I've done I want to be with you and I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've done we should revisit this until the very end, kind of each of them just one by one, trying to see if something feels right.
And what are you doing with these letters after you write them?
If I don't like them, then I'm crumpling them up and shoving them in my bag. If they feel like they're staying on the list, then I am sliding them into my notes.
Okay.
But trying to avoid everybody as much as possible.
And you're doing this for all of the rest of the travel?
Yeah. It takes them a while to figure this stuff out. And there's probably a good 20 different responses ranging across that spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So yeah, as you're going into the last day, you have maybe about 4 hours, we'll say 3 hours until you get to port. But you can see off in the distance, far in the distance, you can see Lingdon. Smaller port town. Looks like as you get closer, looks like the infrastructure was kind of created for a larger port, but most of it's been cordoned off, and now only a small little port on the eastern side of the actual outcropping is used. The west of it is in disrepair. As you guys are coming up to it and you make anchor in Lingdon itself, you're not really greeted by anybody. Previously, the dock of Squall's End was bustling. There were guards around. There were people going back and forth, different assortment of ships, of fishing ships and trading ships. You saw kind of representatives of the dock coming to greet people. Here is not the same. You see a few fishing ships, one of them getting to port as you guys were. You see the load that they have is pretty bare. Just a few fish for the giant ship that they are. No one really greeting you as you come in, as you make anchor. What's everyone doing?
I jump off the boat and run for the nearest solid ground and just plop down and go, Zracar!
You're able to find some cracked cobblestones right off of the dock as you lay down into mud angels in the ground, happy to be back on dry land again.
I follow.
Okay.
What, Helena?
I follow you.
Okay. Captain Everett staying on the ship, kind of doing his normal pack down routine as the journey comes to an end, getting the ship ready to depart again once you guys say the word. He catches, I guess, Mazrin as you guys are leaving, as he's the last person to leave. So when can I expect you back for our trip north?
I don't know.
Okay.
Are we not to
Should I
find
keep
you in the
the
north?
bottle be ready? Well, we can depart from here, go across the arrow path the proper way.
Can you
Wouldn't
show us
that-
on a map, Captain? I'm confused.
You say, wouldn't that be east?
Yeah, how do we get to the North Sea from where we are?
So Lingdon is
Yes.
landlocked.
Okay.
So the
I
only
think
way
we-
to the North Sea is back through the Arrow Pass.
Like,
Up.
take us back to Squall's End, though.
Yes, and then you go around the mountains of Squall's End to the north.
Oh, around here?
Oh.
That's open. That goes out to open ocean.
Oh, and then it goes up here.
Yep.
This way.
Yep.
And that's safer?
That's really the only way, unless you're going to Iran, but I
Then
guess
we-
he can meet you there.
Right, but then we have to find a way in the ocean up there if we're already on a boat.
Well, it would make sense for him to meet us in Arvant, though.
If you sail around now, Captain, then we might be able to meet you as we cross the land. Save us all some time.
Yeah, it works for me. How long should I give you?
Well, we need to go to Mazrin, and then apparently we need to go to Ashar, and then we need to get to Arvant.
2 weeks?
2 weeks? All right. I'll meet you in 2 weeks.
Do you need something like a retainer or?
No, it's your company was enough for this journey, and the next one we'll see.
If you aren't joining us to the Bodega, would you like us to bring you anything?
If there's any newer Yennefer novels, I'd love those.
I will.
Also, Ygritte and the Trolls, maybe, if you have them.
We'll find something.
We have a friend we can ask about this.
Well, it was nice seeing y'all. I'll be here for maybe another day or so if you want to stick around and come say hi before you leave. If not, I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks in Arvant.
Safe travels.
You too. And he hands over kind of a bigger bag to you, Dream. As you open it up, it's the 20 novels that you read of Yennefer.
You're giving these to me?
Yes, you enjoyed all of those, so go and have those for your collection.
What books are these? What?
I want you to know that I think you should keep trying with your daughter. Since you didn't try to kill her, I think there's hope for your relationship.
Well, I appreciate that, but she might end up trying to kill me if I try anything, but I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. It kind of gives you a hug. He
I do not
turns-
wish to have relations with you.
Oh no, not what I was going for, but thank you. As he backs away slowly. See you all soon, and safe travels.
See you in Arvant.
Mazrin goes up
You
and
and
shakes
Arvon.
his hand,
Shakes back.
deeply. Yeah.
If Kaim was not near, Kaim is, bye, Captain Everett.
Bye.
Gimble goes to try to
Rook.
find a trash can.
Rook goes to Dream and is like, he didn't touch you inappropriately, did he?
No, I don't think so. I have a lot of knowledge now of interpersonal relationships, but I don't know if it's made things clearer for me.
How did you get this knowledge?
Reading books.
Which book specifically?
Take a look.
Oh, these books, no, you should not do anything in these books.
Dad, they're called
That-
books.
And books are kind of sometimes based on true events.
Not
hope
these
so.
books. No.
You've never done? Oh, okay.
Anything after page 30 of these books is not something you should be attempting.
Some of them, especially volume 13, before page 30, you didn't do.
I would have to agree with you that the girdle of gender changing arc was rather titillating.
It was, like finally experiencing like what the other half feels. It's something I feel like, heterosexual couples don't really explore, like the ebb and flow of like I'm not talking about this with you. It just kind of like runs off to find Gimble.
Storms off. Gimble, you are able to find a trash can. Are you throwing stuff away?
Yeah, I'm getting rid of all of the
Okay.
crumpled ones.
Are you doing it sneakily?
Yes, I would attempt to if I'm not alone.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I got my D20 ready for that perception check.
14.
Go ahead.
Well, that's 16 on the die. I'm still looking at my modifier though.
It's a negative.
It is not.
3.
I forgot that I boosted my deck, so I actually have a +4 to stealth now. It's very handy.
So let's say
Perception 1, so 17.
17. Yeah, I mean, you clock Gimble further than everyone else. He didn't give Captain Everett much of a goodbye. And you see him throwing something away out of his bag and then getting ready to go into the city.
I approach him and go, old scrolls or something?
Yes, dead weight now. Must make room for further.
Yeah, I never really understood like what you do with the scrolls after we buy them because we never use them. Like, so you throw them away, right?
I throw away what I can't use. Yes, after I copy them into my book, they become useless. So.
What do they look like after you throw them away? And he reaches to grab one of the crumpled ones.
I pull one out of my bag, like one of the actual used up scrolls, and hand it to you. Just like shove it into your hand. Well, there's one that you don't have to reach into the trash to take.
I don't mind a little trash, but I look at it. What does it look like?
Swats. Wait, do you have you pulled one out of the trash?
No, I'm looking at the one you handed me.
Oh,
I trust you implicitly. You would never lie to me.
And Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically it is a scroll, but when you unroll it, all of the writing is faded away to be illegible.
Yeah.
Charred, blackened.
Weird.
And then I
show you
in my book, and you can see like all of it is in like similar paragraph form and.
So how are we getting back to Mazrin?
Probably teleporting, I think might be the easiest way, depending on what it costs. I have some selling to do, but I don't think we can do that till we get to Mazrin. This seems like a little bit of a smaller hamlet. Should
we stay the night here or go straight there?
I mean, explore our options and see if we can leave as soon as possible, it seems to me. The sooner we get to Mazrin, the sooner we can get anywhere else.
Well, and also Steel Cry. I mean, we don't have to pay for staying there, so. And we got to get Kaim registered. Ugh.
I mean, we're not taking any contracts right now, are we?
Yeah, but it would be if we're going to be operating in the Zracaran Empire, it would be better for him to have the protections of adventure status.
And that'll be the only place we can probably find the egret and the trolls without having to deal with guards.
Yeah. I don't understand why they banned that book. It drove one guy mad.
Why did it drive him mad?
I don't
Page
know, but he
67.
killed a lot of people.
It was page 67.
Can we see if there's a way to get out of Langdon?
Sure. Mazrin, did you want to do anything before that?
Oh no, I was gonna do something with the letters, but it's already been done. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can. There's a few different ways out of Langdon. There's a road connecting Langdon and Mazrin, so you can definitely travel by road. You can rent horses or carts. You can just do teleportation if you want to. By foot, I would say the travel itself is probably around 2 easy days. Probably make it there in a day and a half if you hustled through the night. Yeah, it's not too crazy.
How much does the teleportation cost?
As you get to the teleportation place after hours for your entire team, you're probably looking at somewhere around $400, 400 gold.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Do they have a magic shop anywhere in town?
Yeah, you could find a magic shop. It's so even though the dock itself is in disrepair, this is a pretty big city.
Oh, good.
A little bit smaller than Osrin, but still bigger than Sutton, and bigger than Dalhurst, which you passed on the way to Sutton. So it'll have all the amenities of like a regular city would. You know that things here are a little bit more expensive than usual, just because they don't have a really they don't have a set out trade route as they did in the past.
I'm gonna see if there's a way, since it's more expensive here, to see if I can sell this.
Yeah, what are you looking to sell?
I'm gonna see how much I can get for the Ring of Spell Storing. Because that was sort of the agreement. I get to use it for the path, but we need to make up what we lost.
Is this the ring that was given to you by the wizard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, if we're not paying for passage from Arvant anymore, we don't need as much money as we needed before.
No, you don't. I mean, Everett definitely didn't talk about money, but this
Still
time,
don't know what's to come.
yeah, this time you probably wouldn't be paying for all of the food and stuff coming on board, and this is probably going to be a lot longer of a journey than just the few days you were at sea last time. So it's not going to be a ton of money. It's probably not going to be all of your wealth, but it's going to be a good chunk.
I mean, there's nothing else that I felt the need to spend on except for that journey, so we might as well.
It would probably be smarter to try and sell the ring in a shar, to be honest.
I think we might get more for it here, though. In Ashar, there's probably several more of them.
Well, but there's more demand in a shar.
Mm-hmm.
Can we roll a culture check to see that?
Sure.
What's not culture? Sorry. Would that be? Or that's me hinting to Gimble.
What do you think it would be?
History?
I mean, for me, I would probably say Arcana or History. Yeah.
I would say history more so than Arcana.
Okay.
I believe for Gimble, it doesn't really matter as long as it's not nature, right?
Yeah, they're the same for me. I had a. Oh, there we go. It's a 6. So 15.
15. You know, at the outset, when the Zracar Empire was founded, when they felled the Wizard King, um, they put a lot of money into their trade routes. They put a lot of money into their coastal towns of Ront and of Lingdon. So at the time, a few hundred years ago, these were sprawling. The biggest money. This was the biggest money maker of the Zracar Empire. As the kingship changed, the priorities changed from actual goods and magical items to different economic means. So Lingdon has slowly been degrading. What items you find here are going to be at a huge markup. Anything trying to be sold here,
Park down.
there's not a lot of money to go around. So something like a kind of a powerful magical item, you're probably not going to get as much from it, nearly as much from it as you would a thriving city.
Would it be cheaper to use the teleportation circle in the morning?
It'd be a bit cheaper. Yeah, it would knock a few $100s off. So you'd look at 200 for the team to be transported to Mazrin.
So perhaps we can see if we can stay with the captain for one more night since he's planning to stay anyways and then take that tomorrow.
No, we're getting it in. We're going to have to be sleeping on that thing for weeks in a couple of weeks. I want to enjoy as much solid ground as I possibly can.
Yeah, you're able to find a few inns, some of them a little sketchier than most, and you find one that's closer to the market district that's in pretty decent shape. It's the Whispering Giant. And as you go in, you see a ton of locals there kind of enjoying themselves, having meals. You see a bard in the corner singing songs and trying to cheer people up for coin. As you get to the desk, you see a half-elf tending the bar, doing the regular D&D thing and washing mugs behind the bar.
You mean
Yeah.
real life thing?
Yeah, real life thing. Everyone does that.
We're going to need 2 rooms, one for me and my elf friend, and then one for the rest of my group.
How many nights?
Just the night.
Just tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just your luck. It's our last 2 rooms. So we're looking 10 gold for the both.
Well, so if I go upstairs and check every single room, they will all be occupied except for those 2?
Oh, if you do that, then it'll raise to 20 gold.
How, so this is common to just gouge people in your tiny little town?
Not tiny as you think, friend, and your attitude isn't really conducive to negotiating prices, so either you take the money or you can go to a different inn.
Much gold
I think
did
we
he
might.
say?
Mm-hmm.
How much
10, he
gold
said
did he
10.
say?
$10 for both.
10 for both, yeah. Sorry.
Mazrin just puts 10 gold pieces on the countertop.
Finally, someone with some respect. As he pulls it towards him and pushes it off the counter into his hand. Here are your keys.
I mockingly do the same thing he did. And then go upstairs to see my 5 gold piece room, which better be amazing.
As you walk upstairs, you see most of the doors are closed, so you're not able to kind of know if all of the rooms are taken or not. As you get it, it's a decent enough room. Definitely not worth 5 gold pieces each. But it has all of the fixing you need. Both of them have 2 beds in them. A chest towards the bottom of the bed to hold your personals.
As we go towards the room, I keep my hand on the back of Mazrin's neck the entire time.
Okay. Are you talking to him at all, or?
No,
Okay.
I don't usually talk when I walk upstairs.
Okay.
Okay. All
Was
right.
the bard cute?
I see that and I put my hand on the back of Rook's neck.
How tall are you, Kaim?
That's all this kind.
I'd say, I mean, you're a lanky dude. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Average to tall height for a Ganassi.
So like
he's-
probably like 5'9", 5'10".
He's a bit shorter than you, Rook, but definitely can reach your neck.
Oh, I know. It's just awkward.
It's up a bit.
How tall is Rook?
6'8"
Okay.
and thick.
What were you saying, Dream?
I was asking if the bard was cute.
He's an older bard. Probably should have retired a few years ago. But at one point, he looked like he was cute.
I went upstairs with everyone else then.
Okay.
If Jennifer's taught me anything, it's that bards are horny.
Yennefer herself is a bard.
Was a bard in a past life.
Yeah. All right, so we get some sleep tonight and then head out first thing in the morning?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. As you guys go down to sleep, anyone doing a watch?
I will. I am going to Liam and our room, if nothing else.
Okay. Whose room are you in?
I think I'm with Kaim and Dream because he said one
Okay.
for me and my elf friend. And do you two want me to leave you the alarm lantern? I can set it in your room before I go.
I think we'll be fine.
All right. So I'll leave him in our room then.
Okay. As you leave him into your room, decompressing after your long journey, getting ready for bed, we'll switch over to Rook and Mazrin.
Rook is going to lay down and pretend to sleep until Mazrin starts meditating.
Okay. How long does it take you to start meditating, Mazrin?
I'd probably start right away.
Okay.
Because I think I'm more worried about the rest of the night, like later on, than the early
Okay.
part of the night.
So yeah, you're able to pretend to sleep while Mazrin starts to meditate. What are you doing now?
So I throw a rope around Mazrin while he's meditating and get it nice and snug while he's still in his like dreamlike state.
Okay.
And then-
What's your passive perception, Mazrin?
17.
17. Yeah, while you're asleep, you don't really feel much. And after, we'll say the 4 hours has elapsed and you come out of your meditation, you see that you are currently bound.
And I'm sitting in the, I guess there's a chair. Is there a chair?
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a chair kind of like waiting for him to wake up.
Hey, Rook.
Hi.
What's going on?
We're back in Zracar now.
Huh?
As an adventurer of Zracar, I have certain rights that I did not have in the country we were in before.
Okay.
Now you technically don't.
Because I'm not Dash.
Yeah. And Mazrin signed up, but you're not that Mazrin anymore either. So it would be pretty easy, you know.
Understood.
What I want to know is, why should we keep traveling with you? How are you going to help us get Dash back?
That's a good question. I don't know. All I can think is that he probably wants vengeance as much as I did.
See, I don't think that's true. I don't think Dash is that person.
I don't necessarily mean vengeance as far as violent vengeance. Maybe vengeance is the wrong word. I think he wants closure. But so all I can say is I can help you by luring him in.
All right, but at the same time, Dash will probably be looking for us, so we don't really necessarily need a lure. Now, to be fair, you've done right by me and my family, and you had plenty of opportunity to stab us in the back, and you never did. So I trust your intentions, but I don't know if I can going forward. What happens if, I don't know, Dash wants to stay with us? How do we explain that?
One of us has to leave then.
All right. What are your intentions if you find Dash? What happens if it comes down to you or Dash? What if this dream lady comes back and decides, oh, one of you has to come back with me, and it's an impossible choice? What choice do you make? Because as far as the math I can see, you did something to deserve it, and Dash is a victim.
That's one way to interpret it.
Well, here's your opportunity to give me the truth. Give it all to me. I'm asking for you to give me something, because I know there's more.
I mean, the truth is I got captured by Fae. And they created a clone of me. And I didn't ask them to do that. I didn't force them to do that. So your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. Now, I have no way of making sure that you tell me the truth. And like I said, I don't want to end on bad terms here. You've done right by me and my family. And I understand why a man in your particular situation would lie to us. I understand why you would try and keep things from us. I get all that. But you got to help me out here. You can see things from my perspective as well.
Of course. I mean, I can honestly tell you that if Dash finds us, I have no intention of harming Dash. I don't feel that doing him harm does anything to further me getting closure or justice towards those who did this to us. As far as who stays with you guys once he's back, I don't know how that looks.
All right. And then why did the crazy Fae who imprisons people for no reason and makes clones to do some kind of weird long game, why did she let Dash go?
Probably to come find me and see what happens between us, hoping we'll duke it out. They like intrigue.
And how is that going to play out as far as the rest of us are concerned?
I don't know.
I need you to take steps, Mazrin.
Such as?
If you want to be a part of this, you need to fix this thing between you and Gimble. I know it seems impossible, but you need to be making more of an effort. You told us that you want to be here with us. Is that
Yes.
correct?
I would love to try to talk to him if you would let me talk to him.
Well, I mean, you guys have hundreds of years to figure that out. I just need to see more effort on your part.
Understood.
All right. We're good then.
I thought we were before, but sure.
Well, we are. I just needed to make sure. You understand?
Okay.
I'm going to untie you now.
Okay.
And I want you to know that I have no intention of ever doing this again unless you step out of line again.
Okay.
I'm, of course, referring to the situation in the manor with the cook.
Yeah, I just didn't see any other way out of that, but I understand.
In the future, just get out.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get some sleep. If I wake up dead, I'm going to be very upset.
I promise I will make sure you do not wake up dead tonight.
All right. Mazrin, I just want you to know that if you are who you say you have been, and if your intentions have been the intentions that you have put forward, I'm happy to travel with you. But if you're hiding things, I can't have that near my daughter.
I understand.
So this is your chance. Everything on the table. Is there anything else you're not telling me?
No.
All right. But just know, going forward, if there's any more, well, I forgot to mention, that'll be the end.
Okay.
And I untie him, and I, pull him up, and I embrace him, and I just go, I really don't want to lose you, buddy.
Okay.
And then, seeing as I have stayed awake 5 hours longer than I usually do, I immediately go over and pass out in Rook fashion.
As Rook passes right out, as he's accustomed to sleeping wherever and whenever. Mazrin,
and however.
Yeah. Imagine you have a lot on your mind. Are you doing anything?
I'm going through my mind and trying to remember if there is anything that I haven't told anyone.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I haven't told every single detail of growing up and my life and stuff, but I'm trying to remember if there's anything bad.
As you're going through the situation in your mind and kind of backtracking all of the different conversations you've had, you see the sun come up, crest over the windows, and that's where we're going to end tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. There wasn't a ton of rolls tonight, but I think it was a really good episode. If you liked it, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the little bell icon, do the thing. We love you all, and catch you next time. We are MMMcast, and we'll come up with the tagline eventually.
Finger guns! Finger guns!